So research really shows that those who drop weight and keep it off are more likely to have a well-structured morning routine. There's this quote, it says, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. And it's so true. And really, your planning for your morning routine actually needs to start the night before.
Welcome to the Dr. Ashley Show.
Welcome to the Dr. Ashley Show. I'm Dr. Ashley, and today we are going to dive into the best morning routine to help you lose the weight and keep it off. The importance of maintaining and creating a routine in the morning is significant when it comes to your overall health and well-being. And the ticket to creating something that's really successful is to make it something customized. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to provide you all the tools that you need so that you can leave this show with an idea of how to create your own morning routine. So stick with me until the end. And before we dive in, we looked at our statistics on this show. And for those of you watching this on YouTube, only 68% of you are subscribed. So please subscribe right now if you're watching this on YouTube, and drop a comment below on any questions that you have or anything that you want me to tackle in future episodes. Make sure that you click on the notification bell so that you are made aware of whenever an episode drops so that you never miss one. And if you are listening to this on YouTube, please follow us, subscribe to us, and leave a review. It really means a lot, and it helps the algorithm pick us up so that we can move about and impact more people. Okay, so let's dive into this well-structured routine for your morning. It is the key to keeping the weight off, dropping the weight, and just living the most productive life possible. And, it's difficult because there's all these different concepts on morning routine. There's one where they tell you to do all of these things throughout the morning where it could potentially take 3 to 4 hours a day. So you could sauna, you could then cold plunge, then you could do some meditation, maybe take a class that helps you grow and learn and challenge your brain, maybe a little bit of reading, go for a walk, do your physical activity, cook breakfast, and I swear to you, 3 to 4 hours later, you are ready to tackle the day. The problem with that one is that the first few hours in the morning is where we have the most willpower, where we have the most discipline. My dad, when I was growing up, would always say, eat your biggest frog in the morning, right? You want to wake up, do something for yourself. Self-care is important, but you do want to make the most of those first few hours. And then there's the idea of, Alex Hormozi, and he is this really great business guy out there, and he provides all of this great content. And I was listening to him last week, which gave me the idea for this episode. And he's like, all these morning routines are bogus. He says, what you need to do is you need to be productive. So he says that for his morning routine, Alex Hormozi, he wakes up, he drinks a cup of coffee, and then he dives into his work. He says all the rest of the stuff is just bogus. It's superstition. It's nothing that you really need. You just need to be productive. Now, I get what he's saying here, but I do disagree coming from a work-obsessed type of person like me. Like, I would wake up if I did that. I would drink coffee, and I promise you, I would not stop all day long. Like, I am addicted to it. And if I don't really take care of myself in the morning when I wake up and the night before, which I'll get to, then I would just be all enraptured in my work and I wouldn't have any time for myself. They say that you can only focus for 10 to 20 minutes at a time. You can only really study for blocks of 3 to 4 hours. I swear I have stretched that, you guys. I could be in the Guinness Book of World Records for amount of time focusing and being work obsessed. So I'm sorry, Alex Hormozi, on this one. At least for me, I disagree. And then there's the concept of no plan in place, right? You just wake up, your hair is frazzled, you're at the mercy of the day, and you're like, what's going to happen? I don't know. And I'm just going to go about my day and do the best that I can. That is also not a good plan. So this is where I was for my morning routine, or lack thereof, about 4 to 5 years ago. I had this mega to-do list. I still do, on this white legal pad, and I would just write everything down with bullet points. There was no organization to it. And I would wake up to the alarm. I'd click the snooze button a few times, or my kids would be screaming and they'd be the ones to wake up. My hair, just imagine me totally frazzled, running about trying to get them all organized, because I've got 3 kids now under the age of 11, 4, 9, and 11. And back then, 5 years ago, it was chaos. And I would sit down in front of my computer and be like, okay, what dragons am I slaying today? And let me just go off and try to check off as many of these to-dos in between client care at my company, PhD Weight Loss. I had stage 4 adrenal fatigue. I mean, I was not doing a good job with myself. The night before, the morning I'm speaking of, my nighttime routine would be getting the kids to bed, sitting down in front of the TV, probably with a glass of wine and my computer, and working even more. And then I would go to bed around 11:30 and get up at 6:30 and just be so exhausted. So I totally revamped that, and I used a lot of the tools that I'm going to be sharing with you here at the later part of this episode to get my life in order. And I'm now so much more productive. My health is so much better. And I hope that the tools I've used is going to provide you with a lot of relief in your morning routine. We can look at my husband, Doug, and he just started working from home probably 2 years ago. He was an orthopedic surgeon, and he would wake up and just run to the hospital, not really have any morning routine because there was just no time. He was exhausted, getting to bed late, and then he started working from home in his telemedicine practice. And it totally shifted his schedule. You'd think that there'd be more time. He was really excited, thinking there'd be more time working from home, but little did he know it's actually even more hectic. Now he's finding that out. And he was at the mercy of the day too. And I would see him just wake up and rush to open up his computer and see what dragons he could slay for the day. And then from an eating perspective, he really does have a propensity to overeat, to put on weight really easily. And he would find himself just whenever the day would give him a 10-minute block, he would run up to the kitchen and eat whatever was there. And he found that he was putting weight on, even if the food was healthy. He hadn't planned. And so now today he's got that figured out. He wakes up, he does a little meditation, he journals. It doesn't take long, maybe 20-25 minutes, sets intentions for the day. And then the night before, he plans what he's going to eat. And so he goes off during the next day, simply checking off what he's already planned that he's going to eat. And that's been really helpful for him. And our clients at PhD, we really help them solidify a plan as well. First of all, we create a customized meal plan for them, guiding them on exactly what, when, and how much to eat. So we take out all of the guesswork there. They have it planned the day before. They have it planned for the week so they know what to expect. And then we do teach them to wake up and set intentions. And we give them this assignment, this breathing assignment. And we tell them that immediately after they wake up to just stay in bed, take a big breath in for 8 counts, hold that breath for 16 counts, and then slowly release it for 8 counts. Set the intention for the day, calm down your system, and move through the day with more ease and more control. So research really shows that those who drop weight and keep it off are more likely to have a well-structured morning routine. There's this quote, it says, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. And it's so true. And really, your planning for your morning routine actually needs to start the night before. So how you end your evening actually determines how you dominate the next day. Craig Ballantyne has been a coach of mine. He's really great. I love him. And he wrote this really great book called The Perfect Week Formula. It's a really short book. You know by now, if you've been listening to my episodes, I have trouble getting any reading in because the life is a little bit hectic. And in my morning routine, I don't include reading. But this book you can get through pretty darn quickly. And he talks about reflecting the evening before. So when you finish your workday, when you finish your day at home with the kids, when you finish your day being with the grandkids, whatever your day might look like, sit down for a few minutes and reflect. And he calls this reflection the 3x3. So write down 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that you're proud of, and 3 things that you could improve the next day that would allow you to be happier. So if you think about it from a health, weight loss perspective, write down 3 things that you're grateful for, maybe 3 things about your body that you're grateful for, 3 things that you're proud of, maybe how you woke up and had a day planned. Maybe it was how you followed your meal plan. Maybe it was how you went up and got outside and went for a walk, anything. And then 3 things that could be improved upon. Maybe you skipped your mid-afternoon snack and tomorrow you're going to put the boundaries in place so that you don't skip it. See where I'm going with that? Maybe you didn't get your breakfast in because your morning was so rushed, and now you can plan how you're going to get that breakfast in tomorrow morning so that you are successful in that goal. Hey guys, quick interruption to the show to remind you about GlucoCut Plus, my latest supplement designed specifically for weight loss and maintenance. You know, weight loss can stress your body, it affects your thyroid, muscle mass, and metabolism. GlucoCut Plus is packed with patented ingredients to regulate your blood sugar for longer lasting energy, enhance fat burning, and support lean muscle and your thyroid health. We only use top quality ingredients and it's super effective. It's like this all-in-one for metabolic support. Visit drashleywellness.com, use code Ashley10 for 10% off your first purchase or receive 20% off your first subscription order with free shipping. Plus, enjoy a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, back to the show. And then you want to make sure that you have your schedule for tomorrow. So this was the biggest thing that I shifted in my life, and it made profound positive impact. So again, before I end my day, let's say my work day ends around 4:30, 5 o'clock, my kids are home, it's time to be with them, take them to activities, then I'm going to do my reflection and I'm going to write out everything that I'm going to do the next day. So I'm not kidding. I start at 6 a.m. to 6:45, I'm going to meditate. For me, that length of meditation is important. It's really impacted my life on a positive level, and it's something that sets the intention for the day so I don't just rush in to work and rush into giving. I'm able to receive something. So I do that meditation. And then I plan seeing my kids and helping them get off to school for the next 30 minutes, helping them pack their lunch. And some mornings I do drive them in. Other mornings my husband might, or we have someone who helps us who brings the kids in some mornings. So we alternate that. So we always get to be with them because my time with them is really important. And I write that down. And then I write down if I'm going to go outside for a few minutes and just see the sun, because, you know, that's number one, is setting your circadian rhythm so that you can sleep well at night, is seeing the sun first thing in the morning. So I write that down. And then I know at 7:45, the workday starts, and I do it up in blocks in 2 hours. I even write down when I'm going to work out, when I'm going to eat lunch, when I'm going to be with the kids. And during my to-do blocks, I know exactly what to-dos I'm going to finish up. And then at the end of the day, I reflect and I repeat. I write down sometimes what I'm going to eat specifically, but for me, I've been eating this way for over 15 years. So I pretty much know what breakfast or lunch or snacks are going to look like, but I do include in my calendar when I'm going to eat those. Otherwise, I will work straight through it and not eat all day and exist on protein bars, which, you know, give or take, can be okay. Okay, so number 2, after you've reflected and you've planned the evening before, you're now going to create healthy morning habits. So number 1 is waking up early. Now you can see successful people who drop weight and keep it off who don't wake up early in the morning, but most people who find really great success do have a clear wake up time and they are consistent with that wake up time. So research does show that those of us who wake up a little bit earlier and we are well disciplined in that early time are more productive throughout the day. Number 2 is you might consider a little bit of breath work. Again, it can be as simple as what we instruct our PhD clients to do, is just to breathe in, hold that breath, and release it maybe 5 to 10 times. Or if meditation or if prayer is important, if journaling is important, maybe it's just 5 to 10 minutes, but really set that intention and be clear about it. Number 3 is to limit screen time. And this is a big habit for a lot of people. They will grab their phone, open it up, and start looking at their email, start looking on social media, Instagram and Facebook. And I have trained myself specifically to open my phone, turn on a specific meditation that I like by Joe Dispenza. And I do that, and then I've got to turn it off. And I will tell you, it's an everyday practice. So I open up that app and I start to secrete adrenaline, epinephrine, that flight or flight. I'm like, oh my gosh, what emergency is happening right now? So I know that I'm only allowed to go to one app and start that meditation practice. But I do want to share with you that it still is a practice for me. Like, I really find my finger wanting to go into my Gmail, Instagram, something like that. But I tell myself no, right? Like at the end of my show, I always say, lead with your heart, train your mind, and don't negotiate with your body. These are the times that I'm talking about, you guys, when you have to train your mind. You have to be in charge. You are the general. Even though other things want to take over, you don't let it, and you do not negotiate with your body. You don't hit the snooze button. I have had to train myself over and over and over again. And some mornings I fail and I know that tomorrow, gosh darn it, I'm not going to do that. And so that's what it takes. It takes constant practice. And I just want to share these stories with you because if you don't have that practice and you don't have that discipline yet, it is okay. But you just start today. You start with me and you set your intentions and you don't go into those screens. You deserve more in the morning than all the mess that those screens and those apps are going to do for you, not serve you. The first thing that you consume in the morning is water. The first thing that touches your mouth, just make it a general rule, is water. Maybe water with lemon is an exception, but that's it. And you want to get about 16 to 30 ounces of water first thing in the morning because you actually do dehydrate during the night when you're breathing. So that is really important. And then you're going to start to follow the plan that you've set out the night before, right? So it's already there. You don't have to worry about it. You can be calm. And then the last thing that you might consider in the morning is moving your body. I don't mean having to do your set exercise or any significant physical activity, but just getting the blood going. It could be a quick stretch. It could be walking up a hill outside. It could be standing outside barefoot and staring up at the sun a little bit to set your circadian rhythm and get your body going. Okay, so now you're going to think about your nutrition, the best nutrition. And I did a whole episode that you definitely want to check out on the best breakfast foods to eat and the worst breakfast foods to eat to lose weight. So I'm not going to go through this in detail, but just in 2 minutes or less, basically you want to think about eating foods in the morning that are going to help regulate your glucose levels. You don't want to eat anything that's going to spike your blood glucose because then it's going to lead to a compensatory low, and all day you're going to be on this roller coaster of blood sugar highs and lows and cravings and hunger. And really, the food that you eat has nothing to do with you or willpower or discipline. It's all hormonally driven by this roller coaster that you've set yourself up for in the morning. Remember, again, metabolically, if you eat foods that have a lot of sugar or carbohydrates in them without protein and fat, your body's going to secrete more glucose. And when you secrete glucose, you create AGEs. AGEs are molecules when the sugar molecule in the bloodstream binds to the protein and causes these molecules called AGEs, which increases aging. It causes wrinkles. It causes cancer. You don't want a lot of AGEs. And then a byproduct of this metabolism also is free radicals. And free radicals are linked to a whole host of negative health consequences. Free radicals are these molecules that are really unstable. They are missing an electron, so they go around the body and they try to steal electrons from other guys, and then they make the other guys unstable, and then we've just got this unstable mess, and we don't want to have a lot of free radicals. So the ticket to success in the morning, if you do eat breakfast and you don't want to fast through it, which by the way is fine, you don't have to fast, but fasting can be a helpful tool. I also did an episode all about fasting. If you want to learn more, go check that out. But in general, think about something savory. So this could be eggs in all of their varied form. It could be a full-fat plain Greek yogurt with some nuts and seeds on top of it. It could be leftovers. It could be lunch items. It could be lox with cream cheese and avocado. That could be a great breakfast. It could be cottage cheese if you tolerate dairy with 2 hard-boiled eggs on top, something like that. Or you could make a smoothie, and here's a good smoothie recipe that you could do. Maybe some unsweetened almond or coconut milk over skim milk, over cow's milk. I'll talk about that in a minute. But let's say an unsweetened almond or coconut milk, some ice, maybe some frozen spinach, and then a protein powder that has, I'd say, less than 6 to 8 grams of carbohydrate in a serving. You're going to dump that in there, probably about 20 to 30 grams of protein worth. If you're a lady, if you're a guy, maybe 30 to 45 grams of protein, depending on your goal from that protein powder, and then a little fat. I like to put a little bit of heavy cream in there, or you could drop a little MCT oil or olive oil in there. And if you really want, maybe a little sprinkling of berries, but you wouldn't really need that. And you blend it all up. I've been putting some bee pollen in my smoothie lately. It has a lot of B vitamins. Isn't that funny? Bee pollen, B vitamins. You'll remember that. And I blend that up, and that could be a really sweet, easy breakfast, and just making sure you're not using fruit juice base, right? Or dates that are often in there, or oat milk, for example, fruit juice, tropical fruit, banana, those items are going to spike your glucose, and they're just something that aren't going to serve you. Skim milk, cow's milk is really pretty darn inflammatory. It doesn't do much good for the body. It's not great for the body. And you really don't need to drink it. That kind of dairy, that processed skim milk actually does spike your glucose levels pretty significantly. So if you're consuming that, I suggest letting that go and replacing it with an unsweetened nut or almond milk. Same goes with oat milk. Oat milk does spike blood glucose pretty rapidly, so don't go out for breakfast and get yourself an oat milk latte. You'd be much better off doing an unsweetened almond milk, or you could do my favorite, heavy cream. So if I go to Starbucks, I'll get a decaf Americano because I'm a wimp and don't tolerate caffeine very well. So I'll do decaf Americano with a little bit of steamed heavy cream in it, and it's really delicious. And if I want a special treat, I might get 1 pump of sugar-free vanilla in there just for some flavor once in a while. So I hope that helps you with breakfast in particular. And then lastly, I just wanted to share with you the research on successful weight loss maintainers. So what do people do in the morning who have dropped weight and kept it off for years? So I'm not saying you need to do all these things and create this 3-hour morning routine, but I just want to share with you what they've found to be successful and what the research shows. So number one is that most of these folks do eat a regular breakfast, and they find that they overeat less in the day. So for a lot of people, if they skip breakfast, if they're not fat adapted, then they go on to eating more and more and having those cravings and binges throughout the day. So considering a good breakfast, like I mentioned. Number two is they perform some kind of physical activity, and it sets the tone for their day. Number three is they have that consistent wake up time. It sets their circadian rhythm and their metabolic patterns. Number four is they really focus on hydrating themselves. And remember, when you hydrate yourself, the first thing that's touching your mouth is going to be some kind of water, maybe with lemon in it. And then throughout the day, I always suggest that you put electrolytes in your water and don't just drink plain water all the time, especially if you live a lower carbohydrate lifestyle, because your body just needs more electrolytes. It needs a bit more salt. Number five is they practice some kind of mindfulness, meditation, something by setting their intentions for the day to drop their stress and increase their well-being. Number six is they've got their goal setting. They've got their planned day, kind of like Doug, how he plans the night before what he's going to eat, kind of like me, who is obsessed with planning every minute of the day so I can be as productive and as successful as possible. And then number seven, they choose nutrient-dense foods for that breakfast meal, like I talked about. Number eight is they avoid screen overload, and they don't look at their screens for the first hour during the day. So they decrease those distractions and increase and prioritize self-care. Think about all the time you could get back if you are looking at screens in the morning, and you could put it all on yourself and your growth and your well-being. It's huge. Number nine, support systems. They have regular group meetings. They have some kind of coach, some kind of counselor, and a lot of them do those meetings in the mornings. They have their check-ins in the morning. And that's what we do at PhD. You know, PhD, once you fully collapse that fat mass, and no matter what's happening in your life, no matter what's happening to your weight, we are here to support you and error correct early on. And our clients often in the morning, we're very busy because they're calling, they're texting us for support for that day. And then number 10 is they participate in some kind of self-reflection. They celebrate the wins, they reflect on the progress, they recommit to other long-term goals. Remember, once you've dropped the weight, maintenance, which I hate that word, maintenance, it's really continued growth, right? I always encourage you, once you're in maintenance, to set those longer term goals to keep you moving so that you don't take your foot off of the gas pedal. And focusing on that by that 3x3 reflection the night before can be something that's really helpful. So the key for your morning routine is to create something that is sustainable. It doesn't need to be too long, but it does need to promote healthy choices. It needs to set positive intentions for the day. So you want to find that balance in between just diving straight into the screens and straight into work, but not doing something that is 3 hours crazy long and doesn't allow you to eat the big frog in the morning. So I want you, if you're watching this on YouTube, to comment. I want to hear what your current morning routine is. I want to understand one thing that really works for you and share it here in the community so we can all learn from you. And then what is one thing you might consider implementing that's new from this episode into your own morning routine? So I hope that you got great value from this. If you are listening to this on a podcast platform, please follow, please subscribe, and leave a review. It means a lot. And same goes if you're watching this on YouTube, drop a comment below and subscribe. So remember, you got to step up to make the change. Lead with your heart, train your mind, and do not negotiate with your body. I'll see you next time.